Good morning, everyone. I know I didn't give anyone any type of notice about this. It's a really early pregame show, and I just popped on. Sometimes I give you notice, sometimes I don't. You got to be on your toes. So hold on. Got my coffee with me, and I'm going to take some questions. We can chop it up, as it were. But I have some pre-planned stuff. I want to show you what Robert Saleh was talking about. Basically, the Niners are going to lose this game, and it's like it could be kind of like a preseason game for the offense. I don't know what they're going to do, but the defense is going to play hard. The defense has something to play for because Robert Saleh is gunning for that head coaching job. And Saleh's not going to throw in the towel one game away. If they give up 40 points today, his stock goes down. So Saleh is coaching like his career depends on it today. And I'm always interested to see what Saleh does because he's so good. I know we're interested to see what Shanahan does, but Shanahan sometimes gives himself an out when he doesn't have a starting quarterback. Saleh's full board no matter what. He's got like 13 kids to feed, all right? So just kidding. It's like 7 or 8. Okay, so the thing is, he needs to have an answer for DK Metcalf. And he had an answer last week for DeAndre Hopkins, put Jason Verrett on him. Well, DK Metcalf's a whole lot different than DeAndre Hopkins. DK Metcalf is like 235 pounds. He's big like a tight end, and it's not as simple as putting your 5'9" corner on him to shut him down. So I asked Robert Saleh, it's a boilerplate common question every week. You ask the defensive coordinator about the best receiver on the team. You know, what do you see from this guy? How are you going to defend him? And in this case, it's a guy they've faced already and a guy who shredded him for 160-something yards and 2 touchdowns. So the question was, Robert, what'd you learn from the first time you got torched by DK Metcalf? And his answer was so interesting. Usually, like Vic Fangio would be like, oh, we didn't execute. We got to execute better. We have a plan. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but we got to execute the plan. I mean, something like that. That's what coaches say. Not Saleh. Saleh's like, ooh, good question. We learned that they're not afraid to throw slants over the middle to DK Metcalf. That's specific. And then he said, the thing is with him, like when we try to hit him with our safeties on those slants, our safety just bounce off. It's like, it's actually more physically dangerous for our safeties than for DK because he's got 20 pounds on him. It's not what he said. He didn't compare size, but that's what he said. It's actually dangerous for our defensive backs. So we're going to have to aim lower. So he said, we're going to have to aim lower. And so I went back and watched. I think it's 3 plays. I figured it'd be interesting. You guys might find it interesting, too, to go back and look at exactly what Saleh's trying to take away. Because from Saleh's mind, he's very precise. The deep stuff for DK Metcalf, he's not worried about it. They're going to take Emmanuel Mosley out, put Ahkello Witherspoon in. Witherspoon's got 4 inches on Mosley. They feel they can match up with those stuff. Saleh's like, okay, I can take away the deep stuff. I'm not really worried about the quick outs. I'm not really worried about the screens, but we don't have an answer for the slants. If we can have an answer for the slants, I feel like I can keep DK in check, to use a chess metaphor. So let's see how DK hurt the Niners on screens about 2 months ago. All right, shall we? I think it's going to be fun. All right, so let's get it going. This is the first one. This was, let's see, 2nd and goal to 2, 3:33 left in the second quarter. So notice it's Mosley here. It's going to be Ahkello in this game. But also notice there's no safety here. This is basically Mosley one-on-one against Metcalf. And Metcalf is like 45 pounds bigger than him. He's just hanging on for dear life here. You can see it from the end zone a little bit better, how Mosley has no chance. The only chance the Niners have to break up this pass, I don't even think Witherspoon could do much, is to have a safety hitting them, a safety playing in the middle of the field, triggering downhill, to use coach speak, and knocking this ball out. So let's see if Robert Saleh makes the adjustment. Where is the next one? Hold on. 10:21 third quarter. Okay. So the Seahawks see that. That's at the end of the first half. Come right back to it in the third quarter because you make your halftime adjustments and they say, oh, That little Mosley can't stop a slant. So now, where are we? This third quarter, 10:46, 3rd and 4. So last time it was 2nd and goal to 2. You just need 2 yards. This is when they go to the slant, when they just need a couple of yards. And they put them on the right side against not Verrett because they're smart. So this time, though, you got the safety in the middle of the field. It's not – there's someone there. So this is basically 2-on-1. Let's see what happens. Again, Mosley doesn't get his hands on him. Witherspoon should be able to get his hands on him, but just gets beaten to the inside. Here comes Harris. It's too late. It's a first down. All he can hope to do is knock the ball out. But if you notice, he gets knocked backwards. Let's go real slow. Here's the point of contact. Who gets knocked backwards? Metcalf or Harris? Harris. Harris crumples. Metcalf stands tall like a redwood tree, and Mosley drags him down from behind. Watch it from the end zone. You'll really see how violent Metcalf is on Harris. I mean, no one really cares about defensive backs. When defensive backs hit a running back or a wide receiver, it's like, oh my God. But when DK Metcalf does this, watch this. Watch his helmet. He sees him. This guy's trying to do the proper tackling technique that Robert Saleh coaches. Get your helmet out of there and hit the guy in the chest. And here comes DK lowering his helmet right into Marcel Harris. See that? Harris trying to get the helmet to the side. DK lowering it, using it as a weapon. Hits him right in the head. Look at that. So Marcel Harris doing what he was coached to do almost gets him hurt. Look at that. And that's supposed to be a penalty on the offense. That was a point of emphasis a couple of years ago. The league wanted to take this out of the sport, and they called 3 penalties on it, and then they forgot about it. That's vicious. So Saleh's saying, look, how can I tell Marcel Harris to aim high? How can I tell him that? I'm gonna get Marcel Harris knocked out if I tell him to aim high. This guy is not your normal wide receiver. We got to aim low. And so what he's saying is, we're going below the waist. We're going below the waist. DK, did you hear me? We're going below the waist, because hitting you in the up high doesn't seem to phase you. And what I've heard Dante Whitner say it any number of times when he used to be on the team. Offensive players would rather get hit in the helmet than get hit in the knees. You can shake off a concussion. The knee injury could ruin your career. I'm not saying Saleh's telling him to take out the knees, because he's not. But I'm saying, DK, be careful, because they tried to do it the legal way. You did this. Now they're going low. And if you don't believe me, let's check out that final clip, because I got one more. This is 6:33, 4th quarter, with the game pretty much in hand. They do it again. They, being the Seahawks, is 3rd and 9 here. And they're up big. Aren't they? Yeah, they're up big. It's 30-14, 3rd and 9. They could run the ball here, but no, they go for the slant again. DK's at the bottom of your screen. Here's Marcel Harris again right there waiting for it. They're expecting it. Robert Saleh's no dummy. So here we go. Here's the slant. Boom. Again, you got to get hands on him. And that's to be one difference is Ahkello Witherspoon getting his hands on the receiver, beaten to the inside. What's the point of even being in press technique? Okay, so anyway, see you later, Mosley. Here comes Harris. Does knock the ball away, but also knocks himself out, or darn near, in the process. Scary play. I mean, maybe you didn't think about it during the game because you were upset that the Niners were losing and it was late, and Harris is a tough guy and not a starter. But look what happens to him here. Saleh cares about this. Saleh has to protect his guys. And watch this. He goes to break up the pass. He goes high, hits him in the strike zone like he's been coached. Look at this. Look at that. It's like he runs into a brick wall. I'll let it run without stopping it, and then I'll do it full speed. This is scary. Saleh has to protect. He can't let this happen to Harris again. Harris is a big hitter, a big guy. He's probably 215 pounds. He's still giving up 20, at least 20 here. Let's run at full speed here. Scary hit. DK is hurting people. So what are you going to do? Look, he even told you, man, hey, DK, it's nothing personal. We tried to hit you legally. You're going to get our guys hurt. Respect to you. You're a baller. We got to hit you low, man. We're coming for them legs. We're coming for them legs, and you better be ready. And I'm telling you, if DK Metcalf drops a pass over the middle, it's because he knows that they're coming for them legs. Coming for them. It's the right call. What would you do if you were Robert Saleh? Football's a brutal sport, right? What's the answer? We don't have an answer. Oh, well, coming for them legs, baby. That's the answer. I like that. Anyway, that's my little spiel for today. You want to talk football? We can talk football. Wasn't that kind of interesting? I mean, how defensive coaches isolate tiny little things. It's like, okay, well, the touchdown pass, guy slipped, we can handle this. We can handle this. This is the one thing we don't have an answer for. What's the solution? And Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh are really smart. When they find something, it's usually the right thing. How do we contain Kyler Murray? Nickel blitz off the right side of the offense. Yeah, that worked. How do we contain DK Metcalf? Hit him in the legs. Let's see if that works. I'm watching for that. All I really care about in this game is where they hit DK Metcalf and how he feels about it. I'm really curious to see that. Because this is going to be the final feather in Saleh's cap if he shuts down DK Metcalf and the Seahawks in a game that doesn't mean anything to the 49ers. If he does that, I still don't see how a team wouldn't want him to be his head coach. He would be like Bobby Fischer at that point. He'd be the chess champion of the NFL. So, yeah. Look, the guy's thanking me for the insight. This is all Saleh. I just asked him, what did you learn? And he was like, boom, slants. We got to hit him lower. Like, oh, yeah, I remember that one time that Marcel Harris bounced off him. Let me go back and watch those again. Oh, yeah, touchdown, first down. Marcel Harris almost gets knocked out. Yeah, what would you do? If I were Marcel Harris, I'm like, gee, coach, you told me to do this. I almost ended my career. What's the adjustment? Saleh's like, yeah, it's a good point. Let me think that through. It's the same thing that teams did to Rob Gronkowski when he was young, right? People just bounced off Rob Gronkowski, and that was kind of his thing. Brady would throw it to Rob Gronkowski. Defenders would try to tackle him the right way, and they would just fall over. So what did they do? They took out his legs. And they did it repeatedly. And Rob Gronkowski got hurt. So when you reach, that just means DK Metcalf is at the Rob Gronkowski level. He's way bigger and stronger and more violent than everyone else on the football field in an NFL game, which is amazing. Not many people who can achieve that. There's I guess Kittle kind of, Metcalf, Vernon Davis at one point. Anyway, that's what I'm looking for. DK's knees. I hope they stay in one piece. What else you guys want to talk about today? Wilson can throw moving left, though. Yeah, I mean, it's way harder than throwing moving right, but he can. I'm telling you, the key to this game isn't necessarily Russell Wilson isn't fast like Kyler Murray. Dre Greenlaw can run down Russell Wilson. Fred Warner can run down Russell Wilson. He's not as quick as he used to be. The key for this game is Metcalf. Wilson's not going to beat him scrambling, I don't think. We'll see. Are the Niners a playoff contender next year? Who do you think will be playing in the AFC and NFC conference finals? Are the Niners a playoff contender next year? I mean, not until they address their offensive line. I'm sorry. What, Carson Wentz? No. Not until they address their offensive line. If they go through another offseason and tell themselves that the offensive line is just fine and they'll be cool like they did last year, then they're going to have more bad luck next year. The Niners have been victims of bad luck, a lot, injuries and stuff. And they say well, I feel like they bring it on themselves sometimes. And it doesn't matter if it's Jimmy Garoppolo and his 24-9 record as a starter here, or they get Justin Fields or Zach Wilson or Kyle Trask. All those guys are going to struggle behind this terrible offensive line. So if the Niners can get a better center, if the Niners can get a plan B at right tackle, okay, Okay, they got the run game. You got the weapons in the passing game. If Jimmy comes back, he's, a starter in the NFL. You won't have Robert Saleh most likely, but you'll have a very talented defense that has Nick Bosa coming back. Yeah, I mean, they should be a playoff contender, but I firmly believe that this offensive line thing could ruin the next season. Jimmy Garoppolo played poorly week 1, partially because he didn't trust Ronis Grasu. I mean, he had been practicing without a knee brace all offseason, and then he took one look at that center who was starting week 1 and was like, nope, putting it right back on. Sorry. No way do I trust this guy. I don't think they need to be in that position. Unless the Niners are going to get Deshaun Watson or some quarterback who can protect himself, which really there is no quarterback like that. Even Kyler Murray needs some pass protection. They're going to need to invest in this offensive line. I don't know. They seem to be in denial about it. They think Mike McGlinchey's great. They think, I don't know what the plan was at center this year. They thought Richburg was coming back. They thought Garland was good enough. I don't know. Whatever the plan was, it wasn't a plan. And then at right guard, I mean, Daniel Brunskill's had moments, but he never gets to play that position. Is he even good? I don't know. He's okay. He's a good backup. They don't take the offense. And then the guy who got Jimmy Garoppolo hurt first was Laken Tomlinson, who's okay. I mean, he gets great grades in Pro Football Focus, which who cares? But he's a strong guy. They talk about, football coaches use the term, he's good in the phone booth. Very strong guy if he doesn't have to move. But as soon as he has to redirect, change his course, he's hopeless. That's the guy who got Jimmy hurt first in quarter 5 of the season. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Seems to me they got to fix that O-line. Probably makes more sense to keep Jimmy and get new young talent behind him. I would get rid of Jimmy. I think he makes too much money to be playing the way he plays, to be as inconsistent as he is, to be as brittle as he is. He makes too much money. He hurts the team making all that money. If he were on his rookie deal, great, keep him because he wins when he plays. But he didn't win that much this year, though. He was 3-3. I don't know. I would move on. But the thing is, I don't know if Jed York would even let Kyle Shanahan. Jimmy Garoppolo is profitable. They sell his jersey. They sell his bobblehead. He probably brings in, I don't know. Well, they can't do season tickets anymore. But I think Jed York likes Jimmy Garoppolo. And I'm sure I'm guessing Jed York, might say to Kyle, hey, look, if you get rid of Jimmy, you better have someone who can replace him. Because I like Jimmy. We can market Jimmy. We're relevant with Jimmy. If you get rid of Jimmy and we go back to the CJ Beathard level or the Brian Hoyer level, or you take some guy in the draft who flops and we're losing and Jimmy goes somewhere and wins, you already know what's going to happen to you, Kyle. So I think Kyle, feels limited, held back by Jimmy Garoppolo. But the fact that he keeps winning with Jimmy Garoppolo kind of takes the decision out of his hands. I think maybe a couple of months ago, he was feeling, man, it's going to be so easy to move on from Jimmy. There's going to be 8 options in free agency. There's going to be 8 more options in the draft. And now they're like, gee, we got the 14th pick. Trading up into the top 3 would cost 7 picks. We don't even have that many picks. Guys that we could get and trade for, like Matthew Stafford, probably isn't available. Carson Wentz isn't a starter anymore. I mean, could we get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo and bring in Carson Wentz and sell that to the fan base? Would you guys like that? Does that sound like something you would like? Carson Wentz as a starter next year? Couldn't even make it through a season. What if he's not good? I don't know. I just think that they're going to ultimately say, like last year, we looked around, we considered Tom Brady, we considered this guy, but ultimately we ended up bringing back. Now, if they could, I don't know. I do think that bringing back Jimmy Garoppolo for one more year is a better move than trading everything for the number 2 pick. Honestly, that's ridiculous. It's not smart. It doesn't work. You don't trade 6 picks for 1 quarterback. Washington tried that with RG3. The Rams tried that with Jared Goff. The Eagles tried that with Carson Wentz, and you'd be like, oh, well, yeah, well, the Rams and Eagles went to the Super Bowl. Yeah, but what happens is, first of all, you deplete all your assets. So like 3-4 years down the line, you're the Eagles or the Rams, who just are mediocre at best or bad at worst. No depth. No ability to replace the guys you had when you first made that trade because you gave away 6 picks. It happened to the Rams. Their offensive line stinks. They're just not a very deep team. They have a few players. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. That's it. And then the Eagles have no one. That's one of the thinnest teams in the league. So if you look around the league right now, there's no team that is flourishing that traded everything to go into the top 5 for a quarterback. The Chiefs traded a third and a first to move to 10 to get Mahomes. That's smart. 2 picks to get one guy. Yeah, that's cool. 6 picks to get one guy. Oh, he better be really freaking good. He better be Patrick Mahomes. And there is no Patrick Mahomes in this. So if the choice is trade it all for Zach Wilson or Justin Fields or keep Jimmy Garoppolo one more year, I'd keep Jimmy. I would keep Jimmy. Because at least you know what Jimmy is. At least you know he's the 20th best starter in the league. I don't know that Justin Fields can be that. Justin Fields played well against Clemson, an ACC team that might be overrated. Clemson's 0-6 in bowl games this year. Who does Clemson play during the year? Let's see how Justin Fields does against Alabama, because he didn't do well against the 2 ranked teams he faced in the Big Ten, Northwestern and Indiana. He looked terrible against them. Awful. And he had his guys. Against Northwestern, he didn't have Olave or whatever that guy's name is, but he had his tight end, the other receiver, his running back. And then against Indiana, he had everyone and threw 3 picks. Everyone. That guy's going to tear it up next year in the NFL. He couldn't even tear up Indiana with his guys. A little inconsistent. So he's not Deshaun Watson. I'm just saying. That's what I would do. Either keep Jimmy or get my guy. I'm not going to say his name, though. I'm not going to say his name. Sign Mac and Scherf, keep Jimmy. Getting rid of Jimmy would clear up a lot of money for them. And I'm for it, but my job's not on the line. I would say, yeah, get rid of Jimmy, sign Mitchell Trubisky, who's the same thing for way cheaper, and draft Kyle Trask. Boom. Win a Super Bowl. But, if it doesn't work, then you get fired, and that's a very bold move to do all that. And no one would like it at first. I mean, all the fans would say, I hate this. So they wouldn't even give it a chance. And, I can see the Niners being like, let's just go the safe route. If we keep Jimmy Garoppolo one more year, no one's going to fire us. Jed's not going to get mad. He's going to be like, okay, that's the right move. And what they can do is they can draft a quarterback in round whatever and sit him for a year. I'm just saying, if they keep Jimmy and draft a quarterback in round 1, that offensive line is still going to be a problem, man. They keep Jimmy and they're looking for like a dual threat guy to develop down the line. I like Kellen Mond. That's the face I make. I mean, he's a day 2 guy. He doesn't have the greatest arm talent. Doesn't have a super strong arm. Not the most accurate dude. But every college quarterback has weaknesses. You got to decide which weaknesses you can live with. And you got to look at the positives too. With Kellen Mond, he's a day 2 guy who started 4 years in the SEC, improved steadily, is very athletic, runs very well. And all that experience, you laugh at it like, oh, who cares? I just care about tools. Okay, well, the NFL is not really a developmental league. And all that experience, you see it last night when he won the game. He managed that game. He wasn't great. He wasn't necessarily, I mean, his running back was terrific. He didn't turn the ball over in big spots. He was very mature. He was almost like Alex Smith out there. He was not going to lose that game for Texas A&M, and they won. I think they came from behind. So I like Kellen Mond. He kind of his throwing motion, the way he throws, kind of reminds me of Lamar Jackson. The quick flick. I mean, not exactly what you're looking for from a quarterback, but from a dual threat guy, it works. And he moves pretty well. He'd be a terrific backup for Baltimore. He'd be a terrific backup for the Niners. I like the idea of drafting a backup who's a dual threat. Because having a backup who's a pocket quarterback, I mean, you just know he's not a starting caliber pocket quarterback, and he can't move. So what, at least if you have a backup who's a dual threat, it's like, okay, he's not a starting caliber pocket quarterback, but he gives you something else, and you're a run first team anyway. So the two guys I'm interested in that sense are Mond from Texas A&M and Jamie Newman from Wake Forest, a really good athlete. He transferred to Georgia this year and was going to play, but then he opted out. So I don't know if he's accurate either, but he'll be at the Senior Bowl, I think. Kellen Mond will be at the Senior Bowl. Kyle Trask will be at the Senior Bowl. That'll be a lot of fun. And that'll be coming up in a few weeks. So we'll have something to look at. I'll be looking at that really, 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 really close because those are the quarterbacks I'm interested in this year. The seniors. I think these dudes at the top of the draft are super overrated. All of them. Even Trevor Lawrence. He didn't look that great against Ohio State. How great is Trevor Lawrence? Is he really a better prospect than Justin Herbert? If Justin Herbert had been at Clemson the last 3 years, would that team have been any worse? I don't know. Justin Herbert's pretty good. He was a 7th pick in the draft, something like that. 7th pick in the draft last year because he went to Oregon and people didn't really take him seriously. You put him at Alabama, he would have been just as good. He would have been better than Tua. So I don't know about it. Lawrence is still the best, I think. But you know who I like the best? My guy's numbers don't count because his supporting cast is too good, apparently. But Fields, everything he does counts. Everything Lawrence does counts, even though they play on all-star teams. But my guy, his stuff doesn't count because he has 3 great receivers and no offensive line and no run game. It's too much. It's an unfair advantage for my guy who can't even move. I'm not going to say his name, though. I'm just hurting his draft stock every time I say his name. He who should know. I'm not going to do it to these kids anymore. I feel bad. The kid's 22. He probably never heard of me. He lives in Florida, and he looks on Twitter. He's like, why is this guy doing this to me? What did I do to his family? Your support isn't helping me, Mr. Cohn. Leave me alone. I'm just going to hang out here in Tallahassee. Fair enough. Was it Gainesville? It's Gainesville, huh? I don't know Florida that well. Sorry, dude. You know the other funny thing? There's a high school senior in the South, like in New Orleans, named Grant Cohn. I wasn't searching myself. I swear, I'm not that big of an egomaniac. But there's a lot of like Grant Cohn burner accounts on Twitter. So I was just seeing how many they were, and I saw that there's actually another real Grant Cohn in Louisiana, and he's like 18. So I tweeted at him. I was like, hey, could I interview you about what it's like to be named Grant Cohn? Because, I mean, there's only like 3 of us in the world. There's another guy in South Africa who's about 50. But I wanted to interview the high school senior who's, I think, going to be like a scholarship baseball player at Tulane. He never got back to me. Jeez. 18-year-old kid with the same name as me in Louisiana is like, nah, I'm not nah. You're too negative, bro. I don't like your ad. I don't like your whole style. I'm not getting involved with that. It's like, geez, that hurts. When someone with your own name turns their back on you and doesn't even respond, I mean, imagine how that feels. You guys are like kindred spirits in the universe. You share something that no one else in the world, and they're like, leave me alone, dude. So that hurt. That really hurt. Didn't you already talk about that other Grant Cohn with your dad? Yeah, he had no interest. Didn't even respond. Didn't even have the courtesy to respond. I don't know. Kids these days, huh? Some people's parents, some people's children. Someone popular in Twitter argued that the Rams trade for Goff was worth it. What do you think? It's the biggest mistake they made. They didn't need Jared Goff. What Jared Goff does for them is what, I mean, Nick Mullins could do that for them. I still think Nick Mullins is a better quarterback than Jared Goff. Jared Goff throws a good football if there's no one around him. He's like the tree who falls in the forest. If a tree falls in the forest and there's no one around, doesn't make a sound. If Jared Goff throws a ball in the forest and there's no one around, he completes it. But as soon as someone hits him, he doesn't like it. Or as soon as he has to move and reset in the pocket or throw off his back foot or throw off an arm angle that isn't what he's, ingrained in his mechanics 1,000 million times. He's stinks. Jeff Garcia was what Ira Miller called a chaos quarterback. You know, if I gotta throw the ball, jumping. If I have to throw the ball, running to my left, no problem. Jared Goff, no, he plays 7-on-7 football. As long as everything is perfect, that guy's great. And the thing that's, you know, such a testament to the head coach of the Rams, Sean McVay, is he can actually create those looks and situations for Jared Goff so much where he has space to throw. There's a clearly defined read and he can nail it. Otherwise, he can't, and he's holding him back. He's paid to be an elite quarterback. He's getting all this money, and he's like the 25th best quarterback in the league. That's going to hold him back for a very long time. They're not going to, I mean, they're not a team you have to take seriously until he's off the team. So I guess, you know, having him on that rookie deal when he was on a rookie deal, he was good enough. But they needed to let him go. The right move was to not give him that money. And I think people knew it. I mean, he stunk in the Super Bowl. But they couldn't do that because they gave up 1 million picks to get him. You can't, after 4 years, be like, hey, you know what? You just weren't as good as we thought you were going to be. See you, buddy. No, you're committed. So they had to give him that $35 million contract because they gave up 6 picks to get him. And now you're just compounding a mistake. The Jared Goff mistake is going to haunt the Rams for a decade because they still don't know if it's a mistake. I don't know. I think Sean McVay knows it's a mistake, but if they really knew it was a mistake, they'd be moving on. The Eagles know Carson Wentz thing was a mistake. They're trying to move on. They might eat like $20 million in dead cap. They're like, you know what? It's just, I don't care. We gave the picks. We gave them the money. We got to move on. And respect that they even figured it out. But no, you don't do it. Show me one example. I mean, of a team trading up that far into number 2, number 1, giving it all up for any player and it working out. Did it work out for the Saints when they traded up for Ricky Williams? I mean, did it work out for that whatever team traded for Herschel Walker that one time? I don't know. I was young. You know what I'm saying? It's a team game. You got 25 starters. You can't trade all those picks for one, especially considering the Niners have been trading picks away forever. They traded 2 picks for Dante Pettis. That didn't work out. So now you throw 3 picks at Emmanuel Sanders. Well, then you don't keep them. That's 5 picks for one position. You still got no one there. And you throw 2 more picks at Brandon Ayuk. 7 picks for one position at wide receiver on a run-first team. That's how you get in this situation. Now they have 2 picks in the top 100 this year. And people want to mortgage more of that to go up to get a quarterback who's going to get hurt behind Laken Tomlinson and Mike McGlinchey, most likely. And these guys are the experts. These guys are the smartest people. Kevin, would you like to come on the show? You have been the hardest working commenter all year. And I respect your hustle and your grind. And it would be an honor if you would come on the show. Can we work out a time within the next 2 weeks? Because the season ends on Sunday. I'm going to have a little more time in my schedule. Kevin, I want to know the Kevin behind the Kevin. Okay? What do you say? Email me. GrantCohn@gmail. Let's work something out in the next 2 weeks. Let's get you on. Because you have a lot to say, clearly. And the people need to know. Let's do it. What do you say, Kevin? I want to see an email from you. What is the single biggest mistake the Niners have made in the last 5 years? Harbaugh was 14, right? That would technically be, so 5 years would be since 2016. Oh boy. Yeah. The single biggest mistake they made is not drafting Patrick Mahomes. I think that would be it. They'd have a Super Bowl right now if they had him. That's the one. You know, in 2016, they could have had Dak Prescott, but Dak Prescott just got a DUI. It's the reason he fell to the 4th round. That would have been a tough pick for the Niners. But the next year, and look, I didn't like Patrick Mahomes. I didn't know what I was talking about. At the time, the debate was between Trubisky and Watson. Smart people knew Mahomes was the best. the debate was between Trubisky and Watson. I thought Trubisky was better because he didn't have great weapons like Watson did. I held the weapons thing against Watson. I learned from that. I was like, I mean, dude, everyone's great at Clemson. You got Mike Williams, DeAndre Hopkins, Sammy Watkins. It's just a wide receiver factory. How can you judge these? That's when I learned. Hey, man, you can't hold quarterbacks need receivers. You bring them onto your team in the NFL, you're going to need to give him great receivers. Does he know what to do with them? Can he put the ball in places that guy can make plays? So my bad, Deshaun. I got that one wrong. But yeah, it's not my job to get that right, though. Plus, I was like 29 at the time. I'm so much smarter and more handsome now. So that was a long time ago. Yeah, Mahomes. Not getting Mahomes. And it's not just not getting Mahomes. If they had gotten Watson, I think it's basically the Solomon Thomas pick. Because if they had just removed their brain from the equation and just put the top 14 draft prospects' names in a hat and just picked at random, they would have done much better. They almost would have done great. They could have gotten Marshawn Lattimore, Jamal Adams, all these. I mean, they could have gotten Leonard Fournette. That would have been terrifying. But they could have got Christian McCaffrey. Could have got John Ross. That would have been bad. But you see what I'm saying? They ended up getting the worst guy possible. That is almost the original sin of the 49ers. That first pick they made, number 3 on Solomon Thomas. Had they gotten Patrick Mahomes, that would have been great. Had they gotten literally anyone else, it would have been better. But they got Solomon Thomas. And the thing about that pick is, it's like, well, the Niners overcame it. It didn't hurt them. It's the kind of thing that haunts you forever. Or at least for 5 years. Because that guy is supposed to, that number 3 pick, you wasted it. That guy is supposed to be Nick Bosa. It's supposed to be your franchise quarterback, franchise pass rusher, your captain, your leader of the team for 15 years. That you're supposed to have that guy. That's the whole point of being that bad. And stinking and going 2-14 is to get something out of it, and you got nothing. And that's going to affect you 5 years down the line, 8 years down the line. It's a hole. So that one. The original sin of the 49ers. It was like, I don't know what, it's like, I don't know. So it would have been, the apple was Solomon Thomas. The snake was David Shaw. And Eve was John Lynch or Kyle Shanahan. I don't know. I can't really, it's a tough metaphor. But if you guys want to help me out with that one. So yeah, it was a really good question. But I mean, also other contenders would have been, trading Buckner. That was one of the worst trades in Niners history. Not signing Tom Brady when you knew you didn't like Jimmy Garoppolo. You knew you didn't like that guy. And you didn't sign Tom Brady, who, okay, yeah, he's old, but he doesn't get hurt. Even on this team, he wouldn't miss games. He got beat up in Tampa this year. He got hit a lot. Did not miss, not a nair, not a game. Not a nair, not a game. Tom Brady. That was a no-brainer. They'd be in the playoffs right now if they had Tom Brady, but they're like, you know what? No, we're good. We're good, Tom. Thanks. We got Jimmy. We like Jimmy. We don't really like Jimmy. We're going to say we like Jimmy. Those were some head scratchers. Oh, and then the Reuben Foster, man. Reuben Foster. There needs to make a Reuben Foster award for the worst pick of all time. The Reuben Foster award. He's like Craig from Friday. He's the kind of guy who gets fired on his day off. Reuben, how did you do that? I have a personal animus against Reuben Foster because on my 30th birthday, I tried to have a little party. And I invited all my friends, and it was at a little bar around in my neighborhood in Oakland. And as I walked into that bar, all my friends in there, my 30th birthday, trying to feel, boom, Reuben Foster arrested for doing some stuff. I forget what it was. It was January 13th, 2018. I forget what it was that time that he got arrested for. And my phone's ringing, and it's one of my confidants in the NFL, and I answer it, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "It's my birthday." And he's like, well, tough, because Reuben Foster just got fired. Not fired, just got arrested. So I had to go in and say, hey, everyone, thanks for coming. Really means a lot. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'll be back in an hour. So I'm still bitter at that. Reuben, couldn't you have taken a day off from being a moron? One day. These are the occupational hazards of being a sports blogger that people don't talk about. People say, oh, it's a dream job. Wait until you have to postpone your birthday for 45 minutes and then tell me if it's really a dream job. Tell me if you can deal with that. That's tough. That was the Hotel DV one, I think. I don't know. There's so many. I mean, who cares? Reuben Foster. And the thing about Reuben Foster is he was such a charmer. He charmed the Niners organization. They didn't see through him at all. When you talk to him, he was like, hey, man, what's up, dude? And like, you couldn't understand a word he was saying. He had such a thick Southern accent and he had such a thick dialect that it was like half the words you'd be like, I don't really know what you said there, but I think I know what you meant. But the thing is, that's how we got you. You projected meaning onto him. You projected, oh, here's a nice guy who's just not that articulate. And he's kind of like Jim Tom Sula. Here's a young Jim Tom Sula, and he's full of expression and emotion, and I just don't know what he's talking about. But I love him. Maybe it's important to actually know what a guy's talking about so you can get to know the guy. Because there was a Reuben beneath the Reuben, a Reuben behind the Reuben that the Niners never really got to know. And I don't think I did either. But some people knew him. That lady at the combine got to know that guy. They needed a hey, I don't know if it was a lady, but the intern that he flashed on, he flashed on that intern. I don't know what happened. That was the Reuben Foster that the Niners needed to get to know. And I don't think John Lynch sat down with that Reuben. I'm telling you, that guy was the most charming person of all time. He was like a teddy bear. He makes Fred Warner look scary. Reuben Foster. He was just always smiling. Remember when the Niners drafted him and there was some marijuana thing in his past and he didn't go to the draft ceremony. He did it at home and had it sponsored by a vape company. That was baller. He's like, oh, you think I need to be sorry? No, I'm going to have it sponsored by a vape company. And then I asked him, I was like, don't you think it's a bad look? Day he got drafted. Don't you think it's a bad look that after what you've been through that you had your draft party sponsored by a vape company that makes vape pens for marijuana products? He goes, oh, I don't want to talk about that. I want to turn over a new leaf. He didn't even understand the irony of using the leaf metaphor when answering a question about marijuana. It killed me. And I was like, this guy's kind of funny. He just said, I'm turning over a new leaf, and he doesn't get it. It wasn't that funny. It was kind of funny. It's like Highlander. There can only be one Grant Cohn. I don't know, man. There's a lot of knockoff Grant Cohns out here these days, but they'll know. They don't know how I be doing what I do. They'll know my style. They'll know. They'll know. It's too hard. You should be thanking Reuben. He saved you from DUI. What would you do without my thinking? They don't call me stupid for nothing. No, I'm telling you, it was a bar in my neighborhood. I walked to that party. I was safe. I don't know how my friends got there. That's on them. Probably Uber. No, I walked to that. No, everything was planned. It was really going to suit my night. It was going to be great. I was going to walk there. My friends were going to say, Grant, you're the greatest. We love you. It's so good to be your friend. And everyone was going to come up one by one and say, Grant, I'm honored to be your friend. And I'm going to shake your hand. I'm honored. And it was going to be so gratifying. But I didn't get that experience. No. Everyone had fun without me. And they forgot me. And I never had a 30th birthday. Reuben, it's your fault. I'm bitter because of Reuben Foster. I didn't get the attention I deserved. So what I'm going to do is have a 30th birthday. My birthday's in 10 days. I'm going to turn 33. No, I'm 30 now. I get to be 30 again, and it's Reuben Foster's fault. I said that. Let's try. Never turn 30. I'm still 29. It's Reuben Foster's fault. He stole my 30th birthday. He stole my innocence, my childhood. You can't forgive that. Who's starting at quarterback? I hope Josh Rosen, but you know it won't. Here's why Kyle Shanahan won't start Josh Rosen. Hold on. I know it. Because Kyle Shanahan's terrified of someone going in the game and playing well who doesn't know his system. That just blows up the whole shebang. That's what Jimmy did. Jimmy came to the Niners and didn't know his system and played well anyway. And then he learns the system, tears his ACL, and doesn't play as great. God forbid Kyle Shanahan's system isn't the star of the offense and the quarterback is. If Rosen went in the game and ad-libbed and played well, would they have to bring him back next year? Would Kyle have to adjust his offense to suit Josh? Oh, it's not going to happen. It should happen, but it's not going to happen. Good question. Shanahan called him that other guy. Dude, Shanahan, I don't think it through. I don't think he thought it through. He's like, man, I need an emergency backup. I'll get Josh Rosen. And then once he got him, he's like, oh my God, fans like him. Fans want me to make this work. They expect me to save his career. They think I'm going to save his career. I just had to sign a guy. I shouldn't have signed this guy. There's expectations. And now he's like, let me be real clear. He's not good. I had to get someone. The other guy. Do I watch Cobra Kai? No. I'm looking for a new show to watch. I finished The Crown. Is it worth it? Cobra Kai. I'll watch it. He'll play the other Josh first. I mean, honestly, the idea of playing Josh Johnson, who's 35, instead of Josh Rosen, who's 23, is ridiculous. Josh Johnson has no future in the NFL. He never had a past. He never had a present. I don't know what he's still doing there. Josh Rosen may not have a future either, but at least he's 12 years younger, at least, than Josh Johnson. So, I don't know. Seems like a waste of everyone's time to put Josh Johnson on the field, no? A waste of everyone's time. Is that too harsh? Thank you. Appreciate the outlook of my Niners and doing your job, opening a lot of eyes. Looking forward to listening to you in 2021. Keep keeping it real. Hey, John, I appreciate it. One of my New Year's resolutions for 2021 was to stop keeping it real. But now that you mention it, I think I'm going to keeping it real. Because I think keeping it real is better than keeping it fake. That's a phrase that I live by. So Queen's Gambit, you know I watched that, baby. Knox, you know I watched that, baby. Here's the thing about Queen's Gambit. I watched that before anyone else. It was like a Saturday, and my wife and I were watching Netflix, and we were like, we don't know what to watch. And we saw some Queen's Gambit, and I was playing a little chess like last January, and I was like, oh, I know Queen's Gambit. That's an opening move. That sounds cool. Let's give it a shot. Watched the whole thing in one day. And we were like on episode 4. We were like, do we like this show? It was like, we're like halfway through episode 6 in the same day. Like, are we enjoying this? I think we really like this show. I told my parents, we were like, look, it's a little weird. It's about chess. I think you should like it. And they got back to like, it's a brilliant show. We're like, yeah, we liked it too. We knew we liked it. We really were very certain that we enjoyed watching that. So yeah, Queen's Gambit, really good. Although at the end of the show, all the guys that she dumped came together and helped her. Can you imagine if there was like I got dumped by this lady support group? Oh, she screwed you over too? Yeah, she's really, really cruel. What if we all got together and helped her win the championship? I think that's the move. Imagine if all of the girls that you ever screwed over in your life came together to help you out one time when you really needed it. Going for the gold. All my ex-girlfriends who I screwed over in my life are going to come through and help me. Yeah, that's realistic. I think that's probably what happened. That's how it works. Hey, remember that time you dumped me? Well, I've been waiting 20 years for a time where I could really help you out because you deserve it. And I only have fond memories when I think of you. So I think she was just really blessed that so many people liked her, even though she was like, I hate you. All I want to do is pop pills and play chess. Leave me alone. Seemed like a nice person. It's my kind of person. Can I just pop these pills and play chess, please? I don't even want to play chess. I want to visualize playing chess. I'm just going to look at the ceiling. Sounds like fun. They kind of just slid that in at the end, like, oh, ex-boyfriend number 1, living with ex-boyfriend number 2. Ex-boyfriend number 3 comes in, and the 3 of them brains, like, shut up. I always got to find one thing in the show that I'm like, that one thing, though, bothered me. Everyone was bothered that the actress was too pretty. No, that was fine. Are you kidding? How are you gonna cast that? Homely looking girl? No, that's not fair. She's a good actress. She did a good job. I didn't like the whole plot twist where 8 ex-boyfriends come together and put their differences aside. Man, someone would have been bad. Oh, spoilers much? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. Look, that's not what happens. She ends up just becoming a mediocre chess player, and she wins some, she loses some. When she loses, she blames the chess pieces. It's ridiculous. She stands there and she blames execution. She never takes any responsibility or accountability for her game plan, for her lack of adjustments mid-game. She's like, yeah, the pawn has got to make that block. You know, the bishop was open. It's disgusting. Why can't we get Sam Darnold? I don't know. Do you want Sam Darnold? Is that who you want? Sam Darnold. So you can have Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen on the same team. They both stink. I really gave away the whole show, huh? I'm sorry. I won't do that again, I promise. You have my word. Sam Darnold could actually be a decent quarterback for us next year. Yeah, I mean, he's not better than Jimmy Garoppolo, so I don't see what the point is. I don't see it. Not an upgrade. Sam Darnold, not a fan. Grant orders Diet Coke at the bar. You bite your tongue. You bite your tongue. No, I don't. You just save people like 10 hours, though. It's a good show. You don't watch the show for the end. You watch to see how for her opening moves. You're taking notes. You become a better chess player as the show goes on. That's why I watched it. You know, I wanted to master the Rui Lopez opening. Did you? Because I did. I'm just saying. Change my intro? No, it's my brand. My brand is to have a very annoying intro that just you can't forget. Who doesn't love that? That's great. And then you get to hear it at the end of the video too. In case it hasn't given you a headache yet. What's your chess.com username? No, I'm not that good. I'm really terrible at chess. The funny thing is, before I started doing all this YouTube stuff, after the Super Bowl and before things started getting going with the draft, I spent 3 months detoxing from football, and I watched nothing but chess videos and boxing videos on YouTube. I went through like all the Bobby Fischer competitions to see what he did. And it's funny, if you watch Bobby Fischer chess, it's actually kind of interesting to see how he wins. But you watch it and be like, oh man, I would have done that too. I would have done that too. And you come away thinking like, I'm really good at chess. I just watched Bobby Fischer win like 10 matches in a row. I got this. And then you like play the computer on rookie on chess.com or whatever. And it's like every move, they're like, no, that's a mistake. Don't do that. Like, what would Bobby do? What would Bobby do in this situation? Chess is really hard. What I learned about chess is you have to think like multiple moves ahead. I can't do that. I'm like, ooh, what if I do that? Oh, you got me. Oh, I should have seen that. Okay. I'm that guy like who has the hand on the thing, like I'll move it here, but I won't take my hand off. I'm like, oh, you want me to do that? Oh, I'm not gonna do that then. I'm not gonna do that then. That's my move. You got to read the player. Just keep the hand on the piece and start moving it around. Oh, you don't want me to do that? Okay, boom. That works. That is the Grant Cohn opening. You know about that. Okay, the game starts soon. That's illegal, Grant. Not when I'm playing my nephew. No, I haven't played my nephew yet. He probably beat me too. The thing about Robert Saleh, though, is he can plan. I asked him one time. I did a story about him in chess. I said, Robert, how many moves ahead can you think? Can you plan in chess? And he goes, oh, not that many. About 8. Not that many. Just about 8. Oh, okay. Me too. That's dope. Is that something you can even learn, or is that a God-given skill to be able to plan that many? 8? Not that many. Not that many. Oh, right. Yeah, me too. About 8, 7, 6. You know? Who is this guy? Anyway, maybe he was, I mean, I don't know. Maybe Robert Saleh exaggerates his chess prowess, but that's the way I remember. My favorite book, someone I look up to, those are good questions. I'm not going to answer it, though. I'm going to go watch football instead. I'll answer it next time. Let me think about it. I don't want to give a bad answer because I know it's a loaded question. So let me think about it, and we'll talk in the post game. After when I'm done in the post game, I'll tell you my favorite book of all time. Thanks for watching, guys. Go have a nice day. We'll be back in the afternoon.